Hi. I posted a video earlier today. I wanted to do some shout outs to the people who have donated to my channel. And I learned the hard way that I can't use last names. So Trey and David, thank you. I posted a private video for the members only section of my channel for you guys. I'm learning as I go. I wanted to do some shout outs and it didn't quite work out, but you guys get the gist. You guys can give if you choose to give. I deeply appreciate it. And I was thinking maybe in the future, anybody who joins my my club, my membership, whatever, I'll just post a little video for you and you only, and put it in the members only. It's something until I can figure out what more to do with it. That's what I'm going to do. But let's get to the matter at hand, shall we? And the matter at hand today is good old Front 242. And I urge you, I'm not going to go, I don't want to repeat myself with my videos. I'm not going to go into why I think these guys sound the way they do and their approaches and their beginnings. I already did that in the two previous Front 242 videos I've done. So if you're interested in hearing that, I have two previous Front 242 videos. A, um, I have a no comment video and I have a geography video. And they're each about 15 minutes long. So I've already talked about a half an hour about these guys, about the releases that came out before these. So if you're interested in hearing the build up to this and what I have to say about it, please, if you have the time, it would be cool if you went and watched those other videos. Right now, I'm talking about this, their third album. No comments an EP really. Some people consider it an album. Some people consider it an EP. I guess this is arguably their third or second album. I don't know. I'm considering it their third. And one of you mentioned that geography was, I can't remember what you said. Did you say geography was not an album? I've always thought it was an album. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it is. Yeah, geography is their first album. This is their third. And I am going to show the covers first because I think they all go together rather nicely. And then I'll talk about the music. Really, this is one of the things I love about Front 242 the most. Imagery. Look at this cover. This is a profoundly thought-provoking cover. This is the kind of album that I might just buy if I knew nothing about them. I would want to know more about them by this cover. And such a cool logo. I talked about the significance of the number in the no comment video that I hope you watch if you haven't watched. But yeah, this is a powerful logo. I think this definitely demands attention. Here are a couple singles that came out around this album, and I think these three records I'm going to be talking about today are all very similar. And these are songs that are from official version anyway. These are the singles that got released from the album. This is Master Hit, and these are all wax tracks. As always, I'm in America. I had access to wax tracks. Wax tracks was good enough to pump these out. They all came out in Europe. Unlike previous releases, these are all very similar to what these releases look like in Europe. Although this is different. The European release is, I think it's more of an orangey cover. This Wax Tracks edition is darker. I like this cover better. I don't own that European version. I've seen it. I prefer this one. Darker, the music's darker. This is aggressiva and quite unusual. Versions that are different from what you hear on official version. Just like Master Hit. Different versions can be found. As always, I think all three of these are worth having. The two 12 inches and the album. And some of you have mentioned my records are in really good shape, and I can't believe you have all this stuff. Try to remember, I've been collecting for a long time, man, and I've always kept them in these. I take very good care of my vinyl. I always have. The minute I buy these records, it's been a long tradition of mine to take very good care of them. And yeah, I've been buying records, y'all, literally since I was 9 years old. Any chore money, any allowance money. I was a paper boy when I was 10 years old. I made $200 a month back in the 80s, and that was all the money in the world for me. And guess what I bought? Records. I also bought comic books and candy and football cards and the shit the kind of crap that boys buy. But the majority of my money went to this. I've been buying records a long time. I got the record buying bug, I think, from my dad. He collected records when I was growing up, and he had a very eclectic taste. I blame my dad really for all of this. I grew up with wall to wall records. I can't remember a time in my life where that wasn't the case. I adopted a habit from my dad. Thanks a lot, Dad. Jesus. This is official version. This is the album that here's the inner sleeve. This is the album that Front 242 really started expanding their sound. This is the first time like anthemic, big, dark, industrial, whatever you want to call it, dance music was being made. This album is not perfect. It does have a couple of weak spots, but overall it's a great album. And this would lead up to their two best albums. I think the two albums they did after this one are their best. And I'll get to those later. But this is a cool album. They took, here are the labels. They took what they had been building upon in their with their first releases, which was pretty, you know, I wouldn't say low budget, but I would say very simple, very slick though, very well produced, independent electronic music, and they cranked it up a lot of notches with this. This music is really, yeah, it's like stadium dance music. It's very loud, very grand. Vocals are more in your face. They're more understandable. The beats are bigger, the bass is meatier. This is the earlier records were definitely club style music. There's no doubt that this music was meant to be played loudly and to be danced to. It doesn't lose the message. In my no comment video, I talked about the importance of their message and their lyrics. They don't tone down their political angle at all. In fact, that's stronger and more prescient than ever. But their music is just much more grand here. Some people may prefer that. Some people might not. I definitely did. The first song on here, I forget it's a abbreviation. WYHIWIG extended. I don't know what that stands for. I know one of you out there does. Please let me know. I don't know what that stands for. That's one of the best songs these guys ever did. It starts off the album and it's just like, whoa. It's a grand statement. Awesome song. One of their best. It was that was the moment I had heard Geography before this, and then I heard this and I was like, whoa, it was a big difference. Big difference. Their early stuff is very, I don't want to say quirky, but yeah, it's just you can tell that they don't have the studio gear that they had here. They bought some new gear here. The sound was very expansive, very big. And yeah, the vocals are much more in your face. Very much more discernible than earlier records. You really get the message loud and clear. Rerun, television station, Aggressiva Do, which is a version of Aggressiva from the 12-inch. Master Hit, Mega Part 1 and 2. That is on the 12-inch. You get a couple of other mixes on the 12-inch. Slaughter, Quite Unusual, that's on the 12-inch as well. Red Team, Aggressiva Angst. Now, some of those last songs, I think this album trails off a little bit. It starts off so powerfully and so loudly, and it's really making a big grand statement. And then as the album goes, it seems like it kind of trails off a little bit. Not that I don't enjoy it. I just think it would have been better if they'd kept that vibe going. And they use themes from the same song a couple of times. Sometimes I feel like this is more of an EP. You know what I mean? There's some phenomenal moments on this album, but it doesn't really feel like a full album experience, if that makes any sense. Still a wonderful piece of work. And very nice packaging. Again, the cover is so cool. You get the nice inner sleeve. Very nice presentation, as you always get from Front 242. Absolutely one of their best albums. I think, again, with the exception of the two albums that came after this, this would be third, I guess. If I had to rank, this would be number 3 in my list of favorite Front 242 albums. Very nice stuff. This is the Quite Unusual Aggressiva 12-inch. Different versions on here. Both of these songs are on the album. It's slightly different. Not a lot different. Honestly, if you had the album, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is an absolute must-have. But if you're a Front 242 fan, I mean, you're going to have this anyway, right? Very simple, just a couple of pretty short tracks. A couple of 5-minute songs on here, one on each side, and then it's over. So, very brief. But look at that artwork. Definitely paints an image in your head, right? Unforgettable images here. Very cool. And then this is Master Hit. You get, I think, Master Blaster. Is that one of them? Yeah. Master Blaster. I think that's pretty much the album version, isn't it? It sounds very similar if it's not. I think Master Blaster is just the album version. I might be wrong on that, but here it says, and then it has Hypno Mix and then the edit version of the album version. So you do get a couple of mixes that are not on the album and some very cool artwork. Much more simple artwork, but no less powerful. Lots of colors clashing, slashing over each other. Love the artwork with these guys. Love this logo. Demands your attention. Cool stuff. And yeah, I've always thought of this as marking the second phase of Front 242. They took that early electronic sound, the very simple, electronic beats and some simple synthesizer work and some samples here and there, and some vocals that were a little more, underneath the mix, maybe a little harder to understand. And then they came with this, where everything was over the top almost. It was hard to miss what their vision was when this came out. Music to be played loudly. I certainly have over my years. In fact, I plan on playing this tonight after I do this video. I do, like I mentioned before, I do think it trails off a little bit at the end, but that just might be me not understanding what they were doing. I thought it would have been better if they kept that momentum going that they started with. Still a fantastic piece of work. There's nothing wrong with this. I highly recommend you pick this up. Front 242, yeah, this album and the album after this, it was their second phase. I think with Front by Front, the album after this, and the next Front 242 video I will do, I think when they did Front by Front, that was their peak. They hit their stride there, but they're on the precipice of doing that here. I always enjoy looking at music in its context and understanding what it was, or trying to understand what it was. Luckily, I was here during this time where I can understand the context. And when I first heard this, I didn't know what was to come in a few years. It was pretty exciting what did finally come. But This record was a springboard. It was them getting warmed up for world domination. And a couple of the tracks on here are some of the best things they ever did, like the first track. I think the first song on here is that sound that they carried over into the next couple of albums. I think they were smart enough to know, like, yeah, we want a full album of what's going on with this song. And they did that. But yeah, this is a great introduction to that next phase. The second phase of Front 242. Enjoy it, love it, appreciate it. Go listen to this album today. Why not? It's there for your enjoyment, just like all great music. Until next time, thanks. Bye.